Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today's fourth and final video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's final video, day 10 will take us to around the 2nd of November. We'll be able to extend out beyond that. We extended GFS and ECM ensembles. Very much around a good week. Have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, and then we'll go up beyond that with today's CFS midnight run. Wet essential, you're going to see some very interesting charts. I shall say no more than that. What's wrong with my eye? No, you'll see some very interesting charts on that one, and that'll be coming up right at the very end of the video. Now, before we get on with that, just save that first video. It says our 7 AM forecast. We've also released the ECMWF 42-day/6-week forecast, as well as weekend forecast. Well, been a busy old day. GavsWeatherVids today. Please check out all of the videos if you'd like to do that. I'll tell you what's coming up tomorrow at the end of the video. Going to be an epic day of content tomorrow. Right, okay, let's crack on then. So I'll tell you the webcam. Have a lovely Saturday. Here we go then. So we're going to start off central. Temperature of CT is continuing to come down. We're now standing at 12.5, which is 1.3 degrees above average. That will probably tick down a little bit more over the next day or so, and then probably start to increase a little bit through the course of next week. We're going to stay sort of low to mid-12s through much of next week, to be honest. May get a boost next weekend. It's going to get very warm for a time, potentially anyway, next weekend. But remember, we're running around half a degree above average, so I reckon at 12.5, we're very close to 11 degrees now. If you add in the 11, or into the 11 degrees, I should say. We're very close, like 11.9, if you add on the downwards correction. But yeah, it's going to be a warmer than average October, but I don't think it'll be as excessively warm as September was. Means of a GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. Looking at London again today, so red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for London. You can see that we are starting off a little bit below average at the moment. Upper air temperature will tick up slightly tomorrow, and then they'll drop down a little bit early next week. And then going to like a warmer phase, of course, of the middle and second half of next week, looking quite warm there through the final days of October. But into November, there's a definite cooling trend in evidence then, so we may see things cooling down, maybe coming a little bit cold as we go through the first week of November. We'll have to wait and see about that. It's going to be lots of dry weather for London as well over the next few days. So the south and east will be close to high pressure, north and western areas will be wetter, of course. And by the time you get through to next weekend, though, it is turning significantly wetter in all areas then. So although it will be very warm next weekend, potentially, it will also be really wet. And then after that, we go into like an unsettled first week of November that brings in plenty of rain and showers too. Temperature anomalies on the 23rd to the 31st of October going to be above average, a warmer average week coming up, and the precipitation anomaly from the 23rd to the 31st of October, drier than average for more eastern areas, but you notice northern and western regions are turning wetter than average, particularly Ireland and Scotland. Latest wind from that from earthnullschool.net shows that we've got a weather system out in the Atlantic. Low pressure is in the North Atlantic. There's an active weather front that's pushing in from the Atlantic as well. That will bring plenty of wet weather to the north and west for the rest of today, tonight, and into tomorrow. That rain will weaken dramatically, though, as it pushes into the east and the south. Right, so let's start going through some chart data then. We have Tuesday here with UK Met, midnight on Tuesday, when we're in a rather showery westerly wind. Through Wednesday and Thursday, heights will be relatively high to our south and east, so we will see a reasonable amount of dry weather in the south and east through the middle part of the week, always more unsettled with low pressure being cloud and rain to the north and west. And then the second half of next week sees that wet weather gradually transferring eastwards with these areas of low pressure. The UK Met doesn't look like it's got all that much of a push of warm winds from the southwest next weekend. What southwesterlies are more to our east, actually. So we're already a little bit cooler with the UK Met scenario by next weekend, but also quite wet. Now, this is how as far as we go with UK Met, this is how the GFS midnight rain. So we should put webcam up for this. Why not? Let's do that, shall we? There we go. Right, so this is how the GFS midnight run was looking again rather showery on Tuesday. And then to Wednesday and Thursday, plenty of high pressure to our south and southeast. Lots of dry weather there. Always wetter and windier, though, to the north and to the west, too. Then Friday, we take a weather system eastwards out, take heavy rain eastwards with it. More low pressure and piles in from the Atlantic into next weekend. It's Saturday, 30th of October, deep low developing to the west of Ireland, and that sweeps northwards. Look at that as we go through to midnight on Sunday. So Saturday on the GFS midnight run is stormy, not all that warm, but stormy. Look how tightly packed the ice bars are around that area of low pressure. That could be our first named storm of the year. That would be Storm Arwen, I think, or Arwen. So that brings like about to severe gales and heavy rain next weekend. We're going to a colder northwesterly as we move into the beginning of November. More low pressure coming in from the Atlantic, but coming in from a northwesterly source, you know, so it's quite cool there. And as that low pushes eastwards then, just beyond day 10, actually pulls in a northerly. So definite sort of cooler, even colder snap appearing within the GFS midnight run through the first week of October. That is Thursday the 4th of November. And again, we're looking pretty cold there with winds in from the north and probably cold enough for night frost, maybe wintry showers in the far north for bonfire night. A ridge sort of toppling in over the country. That suggests like a very traditional bonfire night. If that came off, that was this 5th of November. If that came off, I think we'd be looking at overnight frost from the earlier cold air that established in the northerly. And, you know, maybe some mist and fog as well. So, I remember bonfire nights, you know, from the 80s and whatnot as generally often being cold, frosty and foggy. So maybe that would be like a traditional bonfire night rather than the mild, wet bonfire nights we seem to get a lot these days. Now, we go beyond that, and high pressure begins to slip southwards. Back comes in the milder winds from off the Atlantic. So later on in the first week of November, turns milder, wetter, and windier once again. That's how we finish up with the GFS midnight run on Monday the 8th of November. And yeah, we're a little bit milder. The next area of low pressure is waiting to start moving in. But there is like a 2-3 day cold snap there in the first week of November from the midnight GFS run. So number 6 there is looking. Again, we have heights rising to our south and east as we go through middle part of next week. Always more unsettled out to the northwest with this deep area low pressure to the south of Greenland. Now into the second half of next week, you push your weather front eastwards across the country. That takes some outbreaks of rain with it and cools things down, but only temporarily. Then we start picking up this really long fetch southwesterly. The origins of this is all the way from the Azores, probably even south of the Azores, maybe ultimately Bermuda or somewhere like that. So it is a really warm air mass that's being pumped northwards on the GFS 6 there. Next weekend. I suspect this will probably be a bit of an outlier. We'll find out when the GFS ensembles finish updating around an hour. But next weekend looks exceptionally warm on the GFS 6. And look at this southwesterly that's pumping up here into England and Wales in particular. There's the upper air temperatures for 6 a.m. on Sunday, the 31st of October. Halloween has a plus 10 Celsius ice firm right across England and Wales. It is a little bit cooler for Scotland. There will be a lot of heavy rain with that as well. It's very moisture laden. There's a weather front that's strung out to the northwest. So for some places, a deluge. Other places, like that would be like proper Indian summer. You know, Indian summer is October into November in the traditional sense in North America. So that would be traditional, classic, proper Indian summer for the south. But it is also bring the deluge to some areas. Not as stormy as the GFS midnight run was. Again, there's those upper air temperatures for the 1st of November, looking exceptionally mild, if not warm. Now, that high pressure starts to collapse then as we move through into Tuesday, the 2nd of November, day 10, starts to bring low pressure in off the Atlantic. And interestingly, despite that sort of warm end to October, by the time we get into November, the 6th is also trending colder, turning the wind into the north and to the northwest too, taking high pressure out to our west. So, yeah, we get another cold snap coming from the 6th through the first week of November. -5 Celsius ice firm then gets into Scotland. What a change on just a couple of days before. We've got the +10 Celsius ice firm through the country. So dramatic changes, dramatic temperature changes and wild swings with the GFS 6M. we finish up looking like that. Again, high pressure just slipping south a little bit, starting to introduce a milder wind from off the Atlantic, not warm, but a milder wind from off the Atlantic, and a little bit more unsettled, particularly for the north and west. Let's move on to the GM. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button. Make sure to sub to the channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that, and drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Thank you so much. Right, this is how the GM looks for Tuesday. Again, in a showery westerly wind. Then midweek turns drier in the southeast with this ridge. Always more unsettled with wind and rain out to the north and the west. End of week into weekend, low pressure starts moving in from off the Atlantic. That brings outbreaks of rain eastwards. No exception, mild push of air from the southwest with the GM, like that GFS 6 said was showing. Actually, probably getting cooler with time over weekend and up towards day 10 as the low pressure transfers to the east of Scotland. We're pulling colder air from the northwest. So that looks like it's also setting up a cold snap through the first week of November. That's as far as we go, though, with the GM. Right, day 10. That's how the ECM looks on Tuesday. Once more, rather showery. And then as we go through into Wednesday and Thursday, high pressure just to our south and east, keeps many southern and east areas mostly dry. Outbreaks of cloud, wind and rain in the north and west. And then through the end of the week again, we push out where the system eastwards, takes outbreaks of rain with it. Again, the ECM does not show that exceptionally mild southwesterly wind that the GFS 6Z has. Just looks rather unsettled and mixed, you know, as we go through next weekend with outbreaks of rain very possible. And then eventually, again, similar to all of the model output by day 10, all of the low pressure excuse me, all of the low pressure transfers eastwards and into the north goes the wind. And yes, you can see we are starting to pull colder air in by day 10. Pull colder air in from the north by day 10 with the ECM. So they look like they're all setting up a bit of a cold snap, don't they? Through the first week of November, which is quite interesting. Again, we might get exceptionally mild sort of next weekend for a couple of days, but they look like they're all trending in the same direction for early November, which is to turn the wind into the north. Doesn't mean they're right, of course, because it's all extended range, so they could all be calling this wrong, but certainly that's the trend today anyway, a cold snap through the first week of November, possibly giving us a chilly bonfire night. Right, this is the precipitation forecast based on the ECM run from tometeo.com. Lots of rain piling into the north and the west over the next few days, mainly dry in the south and southeast. Not much of that rain gets through. A little bit does, though, at times, but the driest weather is always in the south and the southeast, wettest weather in the north and in the northwest until the end of next week. I mean, it turns more generally wet and windy across many parts of the country. This is next weekend, Saturday, 30th of October. Looks like got a bit of a deluge going on there, and more heavy rain then sweeps northwards on Halloween as well. Wash out Halloween, I'm afraid, for trick-or-treaters on the 31st, and it all ends up pulling in colder air from the north, and so by the end of the ECM run, showers are beginning to go wintry, indicated by those green colours there across Scotland. Still looks very wet, I have to say, though, in that far southeastern corner. Right, let's turn off the webcam and have a look at the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today. For day 10 from the Icelandic Met Office, these are them. So we have, this gets the 2nd of November, we have 25 members of the ECM ensembles just with low pressure over top of the country. That's going to be very unsettled. And eventually, we start to pull cold air into that area of low pressure via the mid-Atlantic ridge heading up towards Greenland. That includes the control and the operational run. We have 21 members of the ECM ensembles with lots of low pressure over to the northern country. Again, that looks very unsettled. And then we have 5, a minority option, has us under high pressure. Mainly dry with that, and although winds coming in from like a southerly southeast direction, as yes, trickling in off the continent, it might be getting a little bit cooler with that actually. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This will get us to the 7th of November. 25 members of the ECM ensembles have low pressure over and to the east of the country. High pressure is centred around Greenland, so that is unsettled and cold with winds in from the north. 20 members of the ECM ensembles have high pressure sort of over slightly to the west of the country. It's going to be mainly dry. Could be a little bit chilly as we've got high pressure in November, but you know, probably bringing in the air from the Atlantic, so not overly cool. And then we've got 6 here with a big ridge extending through the UK and up to northern parts of Europe as well. That obviously is going to be mostly dry. And that's sort of thing that might start to deliver some overnight frost depending on whether the skies are clear, of course. CFS V2, finally, data. So, or CFS V2 data, finally. So this is week 1, 500 millibar height anomaly, taking us from 23rd, 29th of October. The coming week has lots of high pressure to our south and east. Low pressure is away to the north and west. With time, it will get a little bit more unsettled. We go through to week 2, which is the 30th of October to 5th of November. High pressure to the south, low pressure to the north. Not much of a cold snap doing there through early November, it has to be said. Week 3 looks really unsettled. This is the 6th to 12th of November. Low pressure out to our northwest, high pressure collapsing down into Mediterranean. So that's going to be very Atlantic driven. Plenty of rain to come there. And then week 4 will be the 13th to the 19th of November. Low pressure then away to our west. So still keeping it unsettled. We have got high pressure to the east, to the south, to the southwest, to the west, and also to the northwest. So rather a strange and bizarre looking pattern. But the upshot is we're still very close to low pressure. And so consequently, we would still be pretty unsettled. Right, I did say that we'd have a look at the CFS V2, didn't I? The midnight CFS run, so shall we do that, finally? Okay, let's have a look at this then. So I'm just going to move this down slightly and lift it up if I can. Actually, I better pull it out a little bit, I think. So we want to go to zoom, and we go to there. Probably enough. Right, okay. So that should be enough. Right, so this is the CFS. This is the CFS midnight run from wettest generated. When was it generated? Let's have a look. Generated yesterday, 23rd of October. No, it wasn't. It generated. Yeah, it generated today, like midnight today, 23rd of October. Right, okay, I don't know what I'm saying, really. Right, so we're under a ridge of high pressure at the moment. We're around through this very, very quick. We're nearly done with the video. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching today's 10 to 14 down. So into November, we're looking pretty unsettled and rather cold as well. Winds go into the north. We're going in 24-hourly sets for this. Winds go into the north through the first week of November, so cool and unsettled. Then we're into a milder run of westerly, southwesterly winds in the second week of November, before winds back in from the north again. A little bit of cold snap showing up there around the middle part of November. A little bit milder for a couple of days, and then by the 19th, 20th of November, once again, winds are in from the north. With each of these northerly shots, it will be getting colder and colder as it's a cooling time of year. So this northerly shot, around the 20th of November, looks really quite potent, actually. Again, it doesn't last all that long. We're back into those southwesterlies, and then back into northerly. So the idea with the CFS for November, with this CFS run, is that we're alternating between northerly shots and milder westerlies, and that's how we go on through the course of November. Now we get to the end of November inside of December, looking very unsettled. Then low pressure properly piling in from off the Atlantic, bringing lots of wet weather through the first week of the month. Second week of December starts to raise heights though to our east. We start to turn wind into the east, so turning colder, and with those low pressure meandering around, maybe a little bit of a wintry mix. We're under a big area of high pressure there by the time we get through to the middle of December, so that would bring dry, frosty conditions through the middle part of the month. Still nothing definitively cold yet, but a few cold snaps definitely through November anyway. In towards Christmas, again, we're still under high pressure. Winds are going more southerly, southeasterly, so a little bit milder there, perhaps through the run up towards Christmas, but still unsettled. That's Christmas Eve. Low pressure piling in off the Atlantic, bringing plenty of wet weather with it. So you're wondering why have I chosen this to show you this, aren't you? Well, just roll on a few more charts. This is heading up towards New Year under high pressure over and to the east, mainly dry, and probably getting a little bit colder with that area of high pressure. By that point, maybe bring some frost and also some fog. New Year itself is, again, dominated by high pressure, so mainly dry and cold with that. As we go into the opening days of January, though, we begin to move the high pressure out to west. And look at this, the high pressure starts to go north through the first week of January. An Arctic blast there on the 7th of January into Scandinavia. And the high pressure eventually starts setting up a Greenland, Iceland blocking type feature by the 8th of January. So we're bringing a properly cold northerly blast there through like into second week of January. Then low pressure pushes through within cold air. That would be a snow event. Then the high pressure back up to Greenland again by the 12th of January. This is a locked in, very cold and snowy, wintry pattern. And then this bitterly cold, snowy pattern runs on into the middle of January. Low pressure and the jet stream force samples blocking within the northern latitudes. Lots of snow opportunities going on there. I shall say no more than that. And just looks really, really cold through to the second half of January. Then high pressure begins to build over country within a cold air mass and starts to head up towards Scandinavia. Low pressure coming in off the Atlantic, or trying to, but is blocked by that Scandinavian high, so we start drawing in easterly winds then into the second half of January. This is a very, very cold and wintry January, I have to say, unlike anything we've seen for a really long time. Heading into the final stages of the month, low pressure again having a go at displacing that block, but is ultimately failed. That would be like another snow event for southern and also for western areas as well. What happens as we get through into February, let's see. So at the very end of January, high pressure begins to slip southwards, turns a little bit milder right at the closing days of January. However, that is the kind of thing that might deliver a very, very cold CET month. And it's been a long time since we've had one of those with January. Our last sub-zero CET month was January 1979. So we are due one. Whether this is going to be it, we'll have to wait and see. But we certainly due a very cold January. Into early February, high pressure sort of stuck over top of the country, bringing lots of dry, frosty, cold weather. Then we try some milder southerly winds, so it does get much milder for a time through the first week of February. But look, the heights are rising again to our northeast. High pressure always trying to get back to Scandinavia. And so into the second week of February, we go back off and running into colder easterly winds. Again, via that blocking area of high pressure over Scandinavia, drawing in wind from the east. That will bring the cold air back as we go through the second week of January into the middle of the month. Then rather stormy, but again, it's a cold variety of stormy weather here. So that could be like heavy rain and snow sweeping through the country there into the third week of February. This looks like a very cold January and February combination, I have to say. By the end of February, yes, Scandinavian high is back again, and we're back into those easterly winds again. And it carries on into March as well. This is through the first week of March, more Scandinavian blocking, more easterly winds. You know, just a very, very cold run of weather, starting just after New Year and running on through, particularly through January, which looks really cold, but also at times on and off through February and March as well. So, you know, it's just one CFS run. It's nothing to take seriously. A little bit of eye candy, but I thought I'd include it at the end of this video. Of course, if the CFS starts churning out run after run after run after run, but does this kind of thing, won't do it exactly, but you know, if it broadly trends in this direction, then start taking it a little bit more seriously. I don't know if it is doing that or not. I haven't been through every single CFS run, you know, over several days as you have to. But that particular CFS run, anyway, very, very cold from New Year right way through, on and off anyway, right way through to March. If that's sort of thing you enjoy, then make sure you check out our live stream tomorrow at 6 p.m. Study live streams, always focusing on the long range. This week, we're actually going to show charts, again, from the CFS, but also from the Beijing Climate Center. They're going to be a very interesting live stream. That will be 6 p.m. tomorrow. Study live streams always focus on the long range. Also, tomorrow, we've got 7 a.m. broadcast, and if that wasn't enough, we have our 8th Winter 2021-2022 update part 1 for you, and then part 2 will be released. That'll be released at 10 a.m. Part 2 of the 8th Winter update will be released at 6 p.m. on at 6 p.m. on Monday. That's right. I'm getting myself confused by part 1s and part 2s again. 6 p.m. On Monday, part 2 will be released. It's going to be a QBO special this week, so that's really interesting watch. Right, okay, so we're done with today's videos, though. I hope you enjoyed them. Please smash like if you have. Drop a comment, let me know what you think to that CFS run. It was good, wasn't it, that? And we shall see you tomorrow, either for the live stream at 6 or for the part 1 of the 8th winter update. That's going to be released at 10 AM, or, of course, maybe for the 7 AM broadcast. But for today's videos and for this video, that's all for now. And thank you so much for watching.